Hi gamers, SFG here, and we're taking another look at Shadows of Forbidden Gods. We're taking a look at another modded god here. This one is by Duplis on the Discord, and it's Kishi, as you can see on the screen, the Jagged Tide. So this, I'm super hyped for this, guys. This is another new god. The last one that we covered Ixtus, the King of Cups, was excellent, and I've heard this one is excellent also. There's been quite a few new gods added to the game already, and it's not even the mod tools aren't even out of beta. That's how passionate people are about this game. So I love this. I love everything about this. Let's take a look, see what it says. So Kishi, the Jagged Tide here. So they tell stories of a being that was born in the first time a human killed another human and has drifted from mind to mind ever since. They say anyone who takes another's life becomes her willing or unwilling worshipper. No matter how just they thought their cause was, they are doomed to kill without reason and drag others into the cycle of bloodshed until all people live only to destroy. Most say the stories are metaphorical. Nice. So it's corn, right? As far as Kishi is corn, as far as influence goes and thematics. But let's just check how the game works here. So Kishi makes her presence known by stoking humans' impulse to kill and bending them to her will when they indulge it. As humans accumulate bloodstains, their minds become more open to further influence from the Jagged Tide, eventually being twisted into bloodthirsty monstrosities or bringing ruin to their lands. As Kishi awakens fully, hordes of demons spill forth from the most bloodstained lands to drag the rest of the world into fire with them. Nice, so we're going to go for this. And I'm going to try the same thing I did with Ixtus. We're going to try, hopefully, I could do a whole playthrough. I'll talk through the starting mechanics, I'll talk through some of the later mid-game powers and mechanics, and then I'll talk about the end game, how I found them, if I won or lost, what I think is good, what I think works less good with the god, and basically my overall conclusions really. So that'll be the kind of theme for the game. So let's select Kishi now. Kishi's abilities are more powerful than average, but many of these abilities can only be used in locations with a bloodstained hero or ruler. To use these powers, Kishi's agents must start wars and manipulate people into killing one another so Kishi can reap the benefits. That's difficult. Kishi gains flatly increasing world panic instead of world panic from fallen heroes, so Kishi's agents have free reign to attack heroes and turn them against each other. Cool. Bloodstains. Heroes gain one bloodstain when they kill a person with a soul. That's difficult, as well as inheriting any bloodstains their victim collected. That's interesting. And human rulers gain one bloodstain when they declare war on another human society. You can coax humanity into murder by attacking heroes and goading them when they retreat, planting hateful spirits that make heroes and rulers more warlike. So hold on. Into murder by attacking heroes. Of course, right, okay, yes. So you goad them, that's a classic thing in the base game. Or using blood in the water to make already bloodstained characters dislike a target character, as well as using god-neutral strategies like the courtier's schemes and the hierophant's preaching. I love this. Look at this. He's basically summarised part of the purpose of this video in a paragraph. Excellent work, Duplis here. This is fantastic. So, giving you some ideas how to play the god here with the bloodstains, how to use, and also though how to do base game things like courtiers and hierophants, etc., which is excellent. Basic strategy. Because Kishi's powers require a bloodstained hero at the target location, Kishi is best played opportunistically. Heroes can be blamed for the actions of your agents using the bloody handprint power, but only in areas where the heroes are spending time. Bloodstains can be spent early to weaken humanity before they might become a threat, or they can be saved up to create massive armies once Kishi awakens. The Might Makes Right power allows you to replace rulers with your bloodstained heroes, allowing you to spur further wars or get rid of problematic rulers. This sounds really cool. Standard map here, guys, we'll go for random world as always, we'll go for normal. Advanced options, keep orcs and deep ones on, I think. Turn limits, whatever. In fact, no, we'll put it on. Humanity's Last Stand, Alliance Purges, Shadow Infiltration is what we want. Next page. Re-challenge events, yes, and turn yes. We can keep this as it is. Next page. Holy Orders, let's leave them on. Oh, what's this? Divine Entities. The Holy Orders have an associated being with desires which can punish or reward your agents. I've heard about this. We're going to leave this off. We'll rediscover this another time. Conclaves, the chosen one called Conclaves. Yes, we'll leave all this. Let's go. Okay, we're at the start of the game here, so we're going to take a quick look at this Supplicant's art for a start. Lovely. The god art, I'm going to be honest, I'm less impressed with this. I think it's just a lot of void space here, but apart from that, it looks cool. It's some creepy what is this sort of thing, you know, it's not a humanoid, it's not nothing, which I like, but I dislike the empty space on the left there. Only a minor quibble. We'll take a look at the Supplicant's level up traits in a second too. The powers I've looked at very briefly. There's Bloody Handprint, which sounds super interesting. So I'll read the fluff. They are racked by nightmares, visions of horrible deeds done for a reason that slips out of their grasp. They couldn't possibly have done the things they dream of, but the acts occurred in a real place and traces of their passing are all over it. Great text. Causes a hero or acolyte to drop misleading clues at their location. The next challenge to be accomplished in this location will give its menace and profile to that hero instead of your agent. Does not prevent rulers' heroes from disliking your agents due to their crimes. So misleading clues is a challenge, forgive me, that can be done by the trickster right now. Okay, in any game, forgive me, not disregarding Kishi. So this is interesting. The Duplice here, the creator of this, has used an existing challenge or something like something that drops out of a challenge to create their own power, which I think is genius. I love this, and I can see why that will lend to fights between heroes, right? And then you've got Echoes of Shadow, which spend 1 bloodstain on a hero, acolyte, or ruler to add 50% shadow to their location, right? Which is cool. I don't think we have any bloodstains at the moment, so we can't do that, unfortunately. We're going to move to Juvis village here, and I think it's suggested that I make a courtier, so maybe I should, I guess. Let's make a courtier. Okay, we don't want the hints, go away please. We're going to do that here. We're going to choose, I do love the gold. Let's take the gold. I'm going to try and start some vendettas. Let's check out the uniques. Hit and run. This character gains 2 attack. When this character fights a hero, they lose 5 profile and menace, even if it would bring them below their minimum. That's for this guy, that sounds perfect for this god. Expose their weakness. Character gains 2 attack. When this character kills someone, their location loses security for 40 turns. Christ. Soldier Worship. When this trait is first acquired, 3 random heroes gain 1 bloodstain. That sounds kind of cool, right? Oh, these all sound cool. I like all of these. I like this. I'm going to go for hit and run. That's really unique. I really like the sound of that. You can do... Wait, can I just do this then? Use power. Bloody Handprint. Select Hero Acolyte. I'll do it on her. This mage. Select. So has she dropped misleading clues here now? Yes. Okay, well I'm just going to go there and do... Oh, interesting. Gain attack but didn't gain might. Look at that. How interesting. So this really is a god all about violence and not necessarily using that violence in other ways, which is quite cool. I'm just tempted to do... that's going to take forever with the weak courtier, but I am... Maybe I should have just recruited a warlord. Let's bribe. What's the... Oh, security out to capital. That's going to take an eternity. We'll go to this city first and start ruining that. Let's get the... How many locations? Village, no good. Oh my word. City central over here. Five is 3. I could drop it by 1. Kind of easily. This is where I need to get to, this one. Okay, let's go there. We'll start some infiltration. You... do I even want to? Do I gain anything from infiltrating? I'll get Shadow, which I suppose is no bad thing. Let's do that then. And what I'll do, guys, instead of just playing the first... like I did last time, I played like 20 minutes and you just watch me. I'm going to stop the video here. I'll come back in maybe 100 turns and we'll see, and I'll try and give a summary about the early game for Kishi and how I've got on and what I've found. Okay? If anything particularly interesting happens, I'll cut back, but otherwise you'll see in about 100 turns or so. Right? I'll see you in a second. So with that, guys, I've played quite a few more than 100 turns, to be honest. As you can see, I'm on turn 160 here, and To be honest, I'm not doing that well. I'm struggling a little bit with getting the main mechanics here working. I think this god does build up slowly, it feels like. So let's break down the powers anyway, so you can see where I'm at with the powers first. So Bloody Handprint, you've seen this. You've seen Echoes of Shadow as well, which I've yet to use anything that requires bloodstains because I don't think I've acquired any bloodstains yet. If I have, it'd be good if it is more obvious. I can't see a quick way to have a look for that. But anyway, I don't think I have. I think it'll give me an event when I do. Hateful Spirit came very quickly. This is a great ability. It costs 2 power, as you can see there. A well of malice with no body stalks the streets, seeking to corrupt the powerful and to propagate itself. Some might trap the corruption to its source, but if they do, they'll find the spirit's bloodlust is infectious. So this creates a spirit on location modifier that will hunt down its ruler after 10 turns. And if it succeeds, the ruler will gain a liking, as it says there, for combat and cruelty. I've not seen that happen yet, because what always happens in my experience is that heroes will purge it, and when they do so, they will gain the liking for combat and a disliking for cooperation. And that's happened a few times. It's quite useful to get heroes not working with each other. As you can see there, the profile is 13, the menace is 65, which is fairly high. So if you did it out of the way, you could get away with it hitting the ruler, but I think it would be difficult. You have, and that's 2 power, you have Shadow Guard, and this is great as well. So an invisible presence stalks its ward, bringing suffering on all who cross them. The ward may not be able to get rid of the creature even if they wanted to, but its presence is unmistakable. So this basically creates a minion, a Shadow Guard minion with 4 attack, 2 defense, 5 health, and costs 2 command. Which is fantastic. For 1 power, you can summon this in a pinch. If your hero's being attacked, if your agent's being attacked, you can summon this to give him a bit of defense, which I've just done actually on my courtier, but really, really useful. Curious, you could do it on heroes as well, I believe, and acolytes. I think the reason for that is if the more you buff heroes and acolytes, the more likely they are to attack. I've not used this on any of them yet. I probably should. Blood in the Water, again, I don't think I've used any of these just yet. An Unending Bloodshed I've only just got. But you've got Blood in the Water here. Those who know the taste of killing look at the person and see something nobody else does. Bonds of fealty, friendship and shared interest melt away. They are simply a person who must be hurt. So all bloodstained heroes, acolytes and rulers gain disliking for a target character. Right, 1 cost, really cheap, but again, you need the bloodstains. And I haven't got any, I don't think. Can't influence the chosen one, quite important, a lot of these powers. Echoes of Madness is free. Spend 1 bloodstain on a hero, acolyte or ruler to reduce their sanity by 15, which is almost a guaranteed insanity cost, so the bloodstained one's killing reverberates through their mind, leaving nothing unchanged. The deed no longer weighs upon them, but the strain has now become a full part of their personality. I guess I should say, rather. So I'm not... It's free, which is good. Oh, it's free, but it spends a bloodstain, that's the thing. I don't know if you'd want to spend it on madness. I have actually had an harvester in this game doing a lot of madness, and it's actually, I think, negatively impacted my chance of heroes fighting each other, as daft as it is. I haven't got many heroes that have become obsessed with combat at all with madness effects, and I think that's hurt me actually in this run. So, might makes right, forgive me. Perhaps they can no longer tolerate the ruler's cruelty, or perhaps the ruler's more influential subjects are clamouring to put them in power instead. The reasons are unrelated to the act. Spend 1 bloodstain to force a bloodstained hero to kill the ruler at their location and take their place. Okay, well that's quite interesting, and it gives -6 security for a location 50 turns. Again, I've not done this. I think if you've got a hero that's completely loves combat, loves cruelty, you know, make a very good replacement for a sovereign perhaps, you could do this and get them in power, which is quite a cool thing, but again I haven't used it yet. And then Unending Bloodshed sounds very interesting. It's 3 costs, most expensive one yet. Something feral worms its way into the back of the bloodstained one's mind. It whispers that their past killings were not the sins of a fallible human, nor even justified defense of their people, but were the natural acts of predator and prey. So you spend 2 bloodstains for this on a hero, acolyte or ruler to give them the hunger, which I think we know the hunger is effectively pseudo-vampirism. The target also suffers latent vampirism, causing them to rise a vampire the turn after being killed. That's great, that's what the hunger kind of should be for me, but that's really cool. So it gives them true vampirism basically. It costs a lot though. 3 power and 2 bloodstains is not cheap, given I don't think I've got any, as I said. But yeah, I think I wouldn't go for madness is the first thing if I was playing Kishi and trying to win. That seemed to be a mistake. I thought it'd be good, but I haven't got very lucky with the madness rolls, I don't think. So look, it's saying Oh, we've got a violent outburst there. Game menace when first acquired, so that's great for me, right? But he's never... I've got him to 39 menace. And he's yet to be attacked, which kind of concerns me. And there's a couple of other characters like this. This one here, look, 57 menace, hasn't been attacked. Yet my courtier was just attacked. I know somebody hates him, right? But he's only got 24 menace. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit... This is it's an interesting balance, actually, because you're making people real lovers of combat, but then they just come and kick your head in because they dislike you for robbing their mother or something of all the gold. So it's a bit of a balancing act, this god, I think. Especially early game. And another thing I've noticed is, it's sort of a bit of a bug, I think, but it doesn't look like the Supplicant's ability I took, this one, hit and run, doesn't seem to be working. So I'm not seeing them losing the profile and menace there when I fight a hero. I'm gaining quite a lot, actually, so I did that a few times and I've had to kind of cancel out of that a few times. It's been a bit of a waste, so I don't think that's working. Could be wrong. If it is working, it seems kind of pointless because all of the things you get for going to combat are quite, you know, I think the minimum you can get is 10 menace and 10 profile, which ain't no small number. Misleading clues, and something to be very mindful of. You need to be careful when you're doing misleading clues not to waste them. I've done that quite a bit as well, which hasn't helped me. So I've done things like, I've had the Harvester about to brutally assassinate this ruler. This location has gone through about 3 or 4 rulers. It's been brutally assassinating them one after the other. But a few times I was wasting it because I was giving people poisoned potions of healing with the Trickster, which was, what, snake oil, 2 menace. You know, what a waste. Which I did like a few times, guys. So be aware of that as well. You want to be careful with misleading clues. But I think the key, we'll see how I get on with Kishi, but I think it's going to be a very slow build-up, and then suddenly everything starts kicking off and going crazy. We'll find out soon. I'll jump back in a bit once things start to kick off, and hopefully I can get some of these bloodstains and really start things moving. But wish me luck, guys, and I'll see you in a little while. Quick correction to the last segment there. I've just had my first hero, Mediator Nera, and it is, well done. She killed someone, got herself a bloodstain. It does come up here, so you can see it there in a profile, but actually, if I click off a look, I think this little symbol, this blood droplet, right, let's be honest, that's what it is, shows it. So you can see at a glance who has one. Well, nobody else has one, it seems like. I'm not going to spend this bloodstain now, I'm going to keep it on her for a little while, guys, but just to let you know, that is quite impressive, actually, that Dupless has managed to put that on there to give you that visual indicator on the map. That is some strong UI game. Really, really like that. Like what is done there. Looking forward to seeing what happens with this. Right, so I think it's kicked off now at, where are we, 185? As you can see here, human versus human. So Mediator Nera, she was our first killer, as it were. Viciously attacked her brother, Mad Sir Fermitis. I'm a bit gutted about this because he was very high on, what's it called, Menace, and I thought it might pull into a vendetta, but anyway. Humanity turns on itself and hero battles hero. Mad Sir Fermitis was killed in the conflict. They felt compelled to act. They felt compelled, rather, to act due to their obsession towards combat and antagonise between two nations. So she's killed her brother, right? That's how bad this is getting. She's now got 2 bloodstains. Vengeance, his sister, killed his brother. Oh, they're not going to be seeking vengeance. Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, why are you telling me? Somebody's attacking the Trickster. This is a pain, right? This is a pain. So there's quite a bit of war now. That's somewhat my creation, I guess. But unfortunately, that means that heroes are after my agents. That are my courtier's just got killed. My Trickster looks like she's about to get killed now. Heroes are after my agents that are in the war, which is another issue, right? Because why aren't they attacking this person who's also of the same family? So it's kind of frustrating then. I guess it's because the menace is higher. Yeah, 40 is quite a bit more. Let's just run away with them, but be aware of that, guys. Obviously, as things start to kick off here, you need to be careful. I think these two may be at war. I gave them both the combat and cruelty with that hateful spirit power. Oh, and I also, this does seem to synergize this god well with Shadow. I spent 50% Shadow, sorry. I spent a bloodstain here to give this location 50% Shadow, it's the same as this one. And that's going to slowly tick up the air. And look, they're not infiltrated at all, which is pretty awesome, actually. So there's some good things here. I do like what I'm seeing, but it's give it a bit of chance, let it build up, and then you should see some pretty good results, as I'm going to hopefully see here. I'll once I get into the mid-game, maybe turn 300-ish, I'll take another break and I'll let you know what I think of that and what I think of the powers then. And then I'll finish off with the summary, guys. Okay, back in a bit. Hi gamers, so we're back. It's turn 360, as you can see here, and I was intending this to be the mid-game review, but I've ploughed along a bit too quick, or maybe the game's got ahead of me. I'm not sure what's happened, but either way, as you can see, I'm late game, really, strangely enough, so it's a quick game with Kishi. He's awake now. He, she, it, whatever this is. And as you can see, I'm 94% towards victory, so the victory is skyrocketed, and the world panic is at 100%, so that has also skyrocketed. So let's start then. We'll kick this off, I think, we'll do a summary of the final powers. I'll talk about the mid game, I'll talk about what changed, and then I'll talk about the state of the game now, the end game. I'll try and win very quickly, shouldn't be too difficult. And then I'll suggest the things that I think maybe could be added or tweaked or changed perhaps to maybe improve the experience of the player with the god. Before I get, just quickly though, as an addendum to that, the god is fantastic, right? It's another absolute knockout, so don't let anything that I say in terms of changes and improvements put you off getting this when it becomes available, because Kishi is seriously fun, just like Ixthus. Duplis has done a fantastic job, but anyway, let's jump into this. So, use power. I think we've seen up to Unending Bloodshed, if I recall. The next unlock gave me Distort Soul. This is great. I use this quite a few times. I've probably got some of these lingering about. I'll try and show you, but the slain one rises and sees itself surrounded by living things and light things. Wrong things. Nice. Resurrect a dead person as a white who will wander the land and raid non-shadowed locations to increase their devastation. So you raise these creatures, and I'll see if I can find one because they are a hero, and they just go around causing absolute chaos. And as it says there, particularly to non-shadowed locations, which is great because it doesn't impact on any of your plans when you're trying to spread shadow. They're really, really useful. They can be stopped by armies, as you might expect, when the menace gets too high, but well, you'll see the map in a second. They've done some serious damage to this world just then, and you tend to get quite a bit of power with Kishi, I think, or I did anyway. The way I was playing him, I seemed to have quite a bit of power, so I could use this a fair few times. Echoes of Ruin is the next ability you get, and this makes a location less habitable. So as you can see there, the earth and wind itself are infused with the bloodstained one's scars. The sun scorches when it is already hot, and the wind bites when it is already cold. More and more the environment itself becomes another enemy that must be fought. So you spend a bloodstain, only one, on a hero, acolyte or ruler, to make the location's temperature 15% worse for humanity. It's just that location, it'll go either cooler or hotter, depending on where it is in the on the map, which is great. And yeah, it's one cost, very cheap. It's quite powerful. You can use it just to snipe a few locations, and I think this has contributed towards me getting such a high victory so quick. But also, I'll come to the sad bit about this because I haven't got to use this yet. Engulfing Tide. It looks amazing, but it was the last thing I got. Last thing, once you awaken, which wasn't too long ago. Probably it might have been this turn, in fact. I think it was this turn 360, maybe slightly earlier, but you get Engulfing Tide. Look how cool this sounds. The act of killing was always dangerous, but as Kishi awakens fully, it becomes catastrophic. Demons pour forth from the bloodstained earth, as killers are twisted utterly into Kishi's servants. So you spend 4 bloodstains on a hero like a ruler, which I have had, but I've been spending them because I was like, well, I might as well use them, which is a shame. Really, I should have kept them because, well, I'll come on to it, but the vendettas and things have sort of ended now. You transform them into a demon of the tide and transform their location into a demonic nexus. Demonic nexi, nice. Start with 150 HP demon army that attempts to raise and unshadow settlements and generate demonic energy that demons of the tide and your own agents can use to summon more armies. So it's an interesting mix, I think, between Ravenous Dead and what's something that buffs an agent, I guess. Demon of the Tide. Yeah, like Ravenous Dead mixed with Deep Ones, almost. You know, they're doing... This demon is doing things to help you, also self-propagating. with these armies, but the armies work a bit differently in that respect. I haven't got a chance to test this out, which I'm a bit gutted at. But it sounds absolutely fantastic. If you play as when, I suppose I should say, because let's be honest, you're gonna play as Kishi. I would say if you get one hero up to like 3 or 4 bloodstains and you haven't, and they're already hungered, so they're already a vampire, I would keep it that way. Don't use it especially if you're close to awakening, because I think that would be absolutely awesome to do that. Anyway, so let's talk about Kishi. So the mid game, I spent myself doing a lot. As soon as that first kill happened, and it took a fairly long time, as you saw, it sort of snowballed, and that was a mixture of courtier, trickster. I didn't start a vendetta with a courtier, but they got one themselves. And I also used this power, Hateful Spirit. I realised the way to use that is to cast it out the way, right? Cast it away from, like, you know, just chuck it here, like over here, right? Cast it over there, and then this ruler is almost guaranteed to become hateful, which means they get, what is it, a disliking for cooperation and a liking for combat and cruelty. So you just do this. Obviously, Alliance probably won't. Will it work? I bet it will. So strong. Let's do it. So anyway, you do this, and as I say, it's unlikely to be purged because there may not be heroes there to purge it, or they can't be bothered to go all the way over there and do it, and suddenly the war starts flying. The other thing that I used, and that starts bloodstains, it starts, you can start getting your resource then and using it. The other thing I noticed was, or have used rather quite a lot, is Echoes of Shadow. So this is a pretty simple ability. You spend a bloodstain to increase 50% shadow on location, but it's I think it's quite clever because it requires you to have these bloodstains, and if you invest in them and you have areas that have got 1 or 2, if you have got 2 bloodstains, you can immediately make 100% shadow, and that can, look at this, I've got a pretty much fully in shadow place without any infiltration, which is really great. It adds a different element to the game. But of course, to get this, you need them to be killing each other, so you encourage start wars. It's a really cool, I think it's a great dynamic. And as you can see, I've spread shadow quite a lot in this map using that. Granted, I'm on the smallest map, but to be fair, I'm also, a third or 2/3, forgive me, of the way through the game. So that's very, very useful. Shadow Guardian is great, but you might actually want to spend it on heroes to make them more likely to attack other people if they don't have enough minions themselves. It's good in a pinch if you want to defend one of your own agents too. Blood in the Water I've not seen much results from this. I have used it to try and get people killed. It didn't seem to get them killed. I've got 2 heroes that are possessed. I think this is one of them. Yeah, the Hunger, look. They haven't died yet. They haven't been killed. Look, the Menace 52. Haven't died. They're so strong though. Paladin and 2 Knights. Seriously. And there's another one that's less strong. Is it this lady? That's a dude. Where is it in that? Either way, she hasn't been, neither of them been killed either, and they both were kind of, at one point, had beef with a lot of people. I think it's this one. Nope. It's this family though. It's this lady. Look, mourning the hunger, latent vampirism. So she's... Menace 61 still hasn't been killed, and doesn't look like she will be either, which is peculiar. I think again, it's because I suspect the knight is too strong. So I could... Although look what this guy's packing, and he's still on attack. Anyway, whatever. What is his reluctant? Why is he so reluctant to do this? In shadow the blind to the right. Oh, he's in shadow. You see, I've caused a rod from my own back here, which is a potential issue. But anyway, so that's an interesting thought, right? Don't in shadow too much, or maybe focus your shadow. I haven't made a Dark Empire person because I didn't want to win the game before I unlocked all of the seals, but yeah, maybe focus your shadow a bit more specifically so you can really get these bloodstains kicking off. These guys both had quite a lot of bloodstains, but I spent them all just doing shadow and, well, primarily shadow, yeah, and some of that ruining the habitability, as you can see here and here. I think there's also that dead white somewhere. You can tell they've got a cool background, and I can find them. But the whites are great as well. That's a really useful power. This Distort Soul is great. It's expensive, but it's fantastic to use to get just automated. They're automated, just go around doing things for you, so they add to your agent pool without costing you any agents and without needing any resource. One thing you may notice is I've got 4 out of 6 agents, only 1 recruitment point. I did lose quite a few. Kishi's an interesting god. He's quite different as you might expect some of the others in that he isn't as reliant on infiltration. He also, or it, whatever, your agents are much more expendable because you want things to kick off, right? I had a warlord just trying to bat. Well, actually, yeah. So when you're the early game, and this is something I think maybe could be improved upon. So let's skip into it. Actually, I've kind of talked about a general strategy with Kishi. So you want to look to use Shadow using that Power of Disgust. You want to look to use Madness. I haven't really used. I don't think it's going to be great with him. I could be wrong, but I can't see the huge value there. You want to spread Shadow. You want to focus the Shadow spread where you want it to be. You want to distort those souls with the white, probably synergizing well there with the Harvester, and of course brutally assassinating various rulers, and linking that to the Bloody Handprint, which gives, effectively does the Trickster's, what's it called? Misleading clues. So it'll leave those misleading clues for people, and obviously make sure you manage, like I mentioned earlier, misleading clues better than what I have in this game. So, and then what you'll see happen is there'll be wars, they'll be kicking off. Use that power to get people much more, to make rulers much more aggressive and much more prone to war. Look at the unrest; it's just absolute chaos. And then yes, just watch the sparks fly effectively. I think, as I say, you want to focus on spreading the shadow, corrupting the rulers using that power. I have done a bit with the Hierophants actually. In fact, I've done a lot with the Hierophants. You can see I've got 3 here. They've recently been buffed. We'll talk about that another time. But see, I've been doing a bit with the Hierophants as well, just to get it really, really kicking off, and it has, which is great. So that might be another good synergy there. And the Courtier, I lost my Courtier too early. Use them to make vendettas and use them to make houses hate each other. I think that's the best use for them. Don't worry too much about infiltrating to start with. Just let things naturally. I don't think you got to worry about infiltration too much with this god. I think I over focused on it, and to my detriment. So that would be my general sort of overview with this god. And in the late game, you can just have fun, right? Just bust out. So you get power quite quick. So bust out some whites. Bust out your which are those? Twisted Distort Souls. Bust out your Echoes of Ruin if you just want to end a location, or bust out your Echoes of Shadow when you get the Bloodstains. Blood in the Water can be useful. I've not seen a massive amount of. Let's try it. Let's do it now before we end the game, or win the game, I should say. Let's make everybody hate you because you're weak. I can't. Oh, I need to use a Bloodstain to do this. Oh no, it's Echoes of Shadow. Hold on, apologies. Blood in the Water. Yeah, let's make everybody hate you because you're weak. Let's also do it to you, just for why not. So now all of the bloodstained peeps, and I love that it shows on the map. I can't see any of them, mind. But all the bloodstained peeps, if they exist, will hate them. It'd be good if that actually power told you where they were running and who they were, even if I could be really cheeky, but it's a big ask. Anyway, so that's the general strategy. Watch the sparks fly, and then obviously, like it said at the start, at the very start of this video, use the opportunities that presents to your best effect, as I've tried to do here. Shadow is very strong, as you can see, as is the, what's it called? Echoes of Ruin, making location less survivable for humanity. Okay, so I think let's move on now to things I think I would like to see perhaps improved or slightly changed. If I was to give feedback on this. So I think the start of the game is a little bit, as you probably saw from where I was playing, I didn't feel like I was engaging with this god's unique mechanics basically. And I would like to do that more and more quickly. So I don't know if there could be some sort of, I'm not sure how that would be balanced though, if you could just do some really cheeky, I know I was doing bloody handprints or whatever, and I was misstepping that quite a bit, but again, this forces you. So you drop a bloody handprint, and then really you've got 2 options. You can brutally assassinate, or you can raid. Those are your 2 best options for dropping menace on heroes. And it takes, like, you've got to do 1, then you've got to do it again, then you've got to do it on, again on the next ruler. Sorry, on the next, on another ruler to get the hero, like, because it won't just after 1 misleading clues, no heroes will attack that hero, right? It's too low menace, it's like 20, so you need to get to 40 odd, 50 even, and you've got to do it quite a bit of times before anything seems to happen. I wonder if there could be some sort of, maybe a power at the start here that just speeds that process up a little bit, but becomes progressively more expensive so you can't exploit it late game. Like a 1 cost to start with, and it just gives a random hatred of another hero or something to a hero, right? And then it becomes 5-6 cost later and you're like, forget it, I don't need that. But something I think like that would be really cool. The rest, I mean, it's a minor quibble, to be honest, and again, I'm no expert on this, I'm very ignorant in fact, so I'm not sure if it is something that is desired to be fixed or whether it can be, but I think it would be good to engage more with Kishi's unique mechanics earlier, basically. Apart from that, no complaints, to be quite honest. It feels unique, it feels fun, and like I said, basically my only complaint is that fun, if you like, came about turn 150, 60, 80, something like that, which is for me long into the game, right? I wanted it to kick off quicker, bam, I wanted to be, yes, I've got this absolute carnage, all the heroes are fighting each other, or at least one of them is, and I don't know, it's a very, very minor complaint, guys. Don't take this as a negative. In Duplis, please don't take this as a negative either, because it's fantastic what you've achieved here. Very, very fun. In terms of additions to the powers, I love all of these, to be honest. The one that I haven't used, this Unending Bloodshed is amazing, by the way. Might Rex Right is useful as well. Echoes of Madness, maybe this is probably the only one that I'd suggest potentially replacing with something. I don't think Madness it can, but I don't think it's the main focus of this, and it's a shame because the symbol's so cool. But I don't think this synergizes particularly well with this card. Maybe replace this with maybe that pair I was talking about earlier, where you can give a hatred of a hero or a dislike for a hero or something. If you don't want to use the courtier or whatever, that might be probably a potentially cool thing. Everything else I love, so I can't. Yeah, that's it. I genuinely wouldn't take any others at all. They're great. And in terms of additions, maybe a buffed Shadow Guardian, that down here somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like at this level, you get like Engulfing Tide. I might be being greedy here, but Shadow Apex Shadow Guardian or something, or Shadow Golem, or something, I don't know, whatever, Shadow Dragon, whatever, but it's something that's kind of like, oh my god, this is a serious minion now, just in case you want to, basically, if you want to just kind of have an agent or a hero, you just want to have them go around absolutely murdering people. I think that'd be cool. Or even, actually, a power that makes an item, if that can be done, so like create Shadow Blade, right, it's all Shadow themed, so let's call it that, or let's call it Murderous Blade, whatever. But something along those lines that's like a seriously dope weapon. And you could give it to a hero or something. You could slowly make them enshadowed or slowly make them love combat or some. I don't know. That might be a good one for the early. But whatever. I'm getting beyond myself now. This ain't my. It's easy suggesting these things when I have to do literally zero work to implement them. So I'm gonna stop. But like I say, I think the main. If I was to give any feedback that was not negative, but any feedback to do this on this, I think it would be to let me engage with the God's unit mechanics quicker, because they're really, really fun, basically, right? So that's so we've done the unique mechanics, we've done my kind of mid and end game strategies that I would use with this god, and the early game, really. I suppose I would just try and do things quicker than I did. In terms of my really sort of final thoughts on this god, to sort of give it a conclusion, well, it's fantastic. It's the first thing. You've got to get this when it's released formally. Kishi is absolutely brilliant. Again, it's like I said earlier, it's another knockout. And I've got a few of these to review now, by the way. So we've done... Ixthus has had an update, by the way, since I've even had a chance to do this. We've got Kishi's now covered. There's another god called the Void, or something that sounds really awesome. I think there's a love god by the same person who's made the Void, so I really need to check that out. What's the... Uralv, I think, is the person who's done that one. Forgive me if I'm butchering your name, apologies, but I'm sure that's the creator of that. Those, forgive me, gods. Wonder Blunder has released now their fish person god, so I'm super hyped about checking that out as well. So I've got some work to do, guys. I've been kept busy by the modding community, which, by the way, I absolutely flipping love. But yes, Kishi is a great addition to the game. It feels, the quality of this and Ixthus, for me, are they almost feel like standard gods as part of the base game. That's how good we're talking here. Yes, there might be a few exploitative strategies you could do if you're so inclined. Yes, They might be easy in certain ways or too hard in other ways, but the quality of what you're getting for nothing, right? You just subscribe to it on the Steam Workshop. That is it. Is incredible to me. As I say, apart from my slight quibbles about the other game, it could just be me playing badly. Bear in mind, it's the first time I've tried this god. It could be me. This could be entirely my fault. Again, apart from that, this god is awesome. When you actually start engaging with the mechanics and you see them all coming together and you see what happens to the world, it just feels... It feels like what it's supposed to feel. You're playing a god of destruction, you know, war, murder, chaos, etc, etc. You know, that's exactly how it does feel. So let's see this real quick, a nice little summary video here. But yeah, you want to use Kishi, look at the shadow spread, and you'll see it just starts popping up randomly, like place I haven't even touched. But you want to use Kishi quicker than me. You want to try and engage with those key mechanics quicker. You want to make people start hating each other. Maybe use some sacrificial agents to start with, then bust out your courtier and your trickster. I probably did it a bit quickly, and use them obviously to then get them vendettas going, and it will just absolutely skyrocket. It'll go crazy. But the god, as I said, is fantastic, very, very fun. One bit of, actually another bit of feedback, if I could be so cheeky, is if we could get a unique ending screen for the gods. I don't know if this is possible, but if we could, that'd be so cool, in my opinion. I don't know if it's possible, but if we could, that'd be awesome. Anyway, in summary, ladies, gents, and others, get this god when it releases on the workshop. As always, I've been SFG. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, hit the like button. If you want to see more of this sort of content, subscribe, or maybe try and wait until you subscribe until, I know this is crazy, right? YouTube would say not to subscribe to them. But if you subscribe when I'm live streaming, if you manage to make the live streams, it'll pop up with a little notification say, bah, you have subscribed, thank you very much. If you'd really like to support the channel, you can become a channel member, you can donate to the channel, there's links in the description, there's a membership thing that will probably pop up in a second as I'm talking. But as always guys, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. Take care.